Martin's here with his deals. And first up, you have a PPI deadline warning after courts have said the banks could be on the way to paying out billions more for it.
Well, this is what the newspapers have said anyway, not the courts. And the newspapers have reported a court ruling in Manchester which said that a couple who were not told of the commission level that their bank was taking. So remember, PPI is an insurance policy that the banks sell. The insurance companies paid the bank's commission. Now, it said that because they weren't told the commission level, and the commission level was 76%, they should get all of the money back. Currently, the FCA, the regulator's ruling is, if the commission is above 50% and you weren't told about it, you should get the difference between the commission and 50% back. So all of the commission back, and remember, this can be thousands of pounds in many cases, would change the market. But this was not a precedent-setting case because it was in a county court. It will be appealed, and if it were to win on appeal, then it could be precedent-setting, but the regulator and the courts don't rule the same way. So one of the things is many people have seen that. Let's not get too excited. But at the same time, the regulator is now saying the current rule is if you weren't told about the commission when you got your PPI, but they're now consulting on whether, even if you were told when you got it, but later on they didn't remind you each time, you should get the money back. Look, the big thing about PPI, there's a deadline coming in just over a year. If you've had a loan, a credit card, an overdraft, a mortgage, car finance, ever, because there's no back deadline, ever, and you think you may have been missold, or even if you're not sure, you need to get your skates on and check this out. You do not need to pay anyone to do this. There are free tools online that can do it for you. The FCA has a helpline if you're struggling. I'll put all those details online. But just every day, people get in touch with me saying something like, I thought I would never be owed any money, and you nagged me, and I've just checked, and I've just got a cheque for 12 grand. I mean, this isn't trivial.
Wow.
That's so... Every day in my Twitter feed, you'll see something like that.
Now, just some people will have got multiples of those things with lots of different organisations and might be tempted to employ a service which sort of does a big scrape. But can you... I mean, it just sounds like a big, you know,
there isn't
job
such a thing of a big scrape. It just, I mean, look, if you know the details...
Can you just go to one site and check all your loans and cards and all the rest of it?
Each one is a different claim, right? But let's just put this in context.
I mean, it's just that some people might be...
But you're still going to have to fill in the details. You're still going to have to fill in the details with the claim company. So you're still basically in both cases you're filling in details. So you're going to fill in details of all the products you had. Yes, they might try and do a wide swipe.
But there's not one central place where you can ask them to check.
No, because
I'm just trying to make it easier for people.
It really is easy, and I think. But yes, if you had 25 different PPI policies, you had 25 different PPI policies. But just put this in context. That, you know, the typical person, someone getting 10 grand, 3 grand's about typical. But let's say someone getting 10 grand for filling in a form, and it is just filling in forms online generally in most cases. There are some more difficult circumstances that you should look at. If you go through a company, you're giving away 30%, that's 3 grand. Now, how many days' work is 3 grand worth? So I think, look, if you really want to use a company and you want someone to do it all for you, I'm not sure how much the gain there is, that's the choice. But so many people say to me, which company should I use? Because they don't know there isn't the option of doing it yourself for free. And it is, the whole system has been changed to make it easier to do it free. It's not perfect, nothing's perfect, but I would start off trying to do it free, and only if you really find you can't do it would I try and engage someone who may just be doing the same thing as you would do, but taking a lot of money for it.
OK, that's